Can I start? Okay, good morning. I just opened the netting on my spring cabbages. I call them spring cabbages because they are small and they're ready to be done in about 45 days. The ones I plant in the fall that stay out in the field until winter take 65 days. So these are good right now before it gets hot, and I can cut them and make coleslaw, but I'll have to store them in the refrigerator. So, I will get out my wonderful knife that my husband gave me for Christmas. And I feel that the head is very firm. If I let it go too much further, it'll start growing a flower stalk, and then I won't be able to use it. So I'm going to lift up the leaves and cut it at the base of the stem. And there we go. Isn't that beautiful? That is my first spring cabbage. Now I'll have to take the big leaves off if I'm going to fit them all in my basket. So, and then I might as well show you my onions, which, as always, when you start them from seed, they look like they're about to die. Little scraggly things. But then you give them enough water and they like sun, and this is what happens. Last year I grew enough onions to last me through the whole winter into spring, and I still have a couple dozen of them left. So I never had to buy onions, and these are beautiful. So I've got my shelling peas, which they didn't want to grow. So they'll just have to tolerate having tomato plants planted a little bit in front of them. That'll kind of block the sun from them, and they'll just have to grow up behind the tomato plants. I have not put my tomato plants in yet. I will wait until at least May 10th. May 15th is our last frost date, but the projection is that we are not going to have frost. So it may go in on the 10th, but I really don't like to put them in too much sooner than that. And that goes for cucumbers and pole beans as well, that I start from seed. I got dill here for all my pickles. I finally was able to grow dill. I tried growing it in a pot, and that didn't work. And I also have experimented, and I have celery plants. Everyone said, don't grow celery, it's too hard. But guess what? It's not. These, I have to wait until the bases of the stems start getting wider and wider. And then I'll wind up rolling a piece of cardboard around them to blanch the lower stems so that they stay sweeter. And keep my fingers crossed. Might have to invest in some BT. Whoops. If they get caterpillars on them, I'll just spray them with BT.
They're coming to investigate your plants.
The caterpillars will just want to eat the leaves, whereas I want the stalks. I still have broccoli and cauliflower, which haven't started to flower yet, and that's fine. Whereas I didn't want the cabbage to flower, because that makes it inedible, but I want the broccoli and cauliflower to flower because I'm going to eat those flowers. And then, last but not least, empty beds, and I'm going to harvest a little bit more asparagus out of this bed, because you could see the nice healthy stalks that are there. And my husband yelled at me. He said I have to harvest them by snapping them at the base and not snapping them or breaking them or cutting them right beneath the soil line. So that's what I will do. How about that? I'll do it right now. How about that? I'll do this one. There's one. And this one. Now I've already pressure canned a whole bunch. 5 jars, 5 quarts I have of asparagus. And these smell so good. Let's do this one. Oh yeah, that's a fatty. And I need to stop harvesting. This is a 2-year bed. So I've got some nice ferns coming up, and also asparagus beetles have already made their presence known. So I've been spraying for those with neem oil. This bed is a 3-year-old bed, so I will continue to pick from this bed until all the stalks are about as thin as my pinky finger. Then I'll stop. Might be almost there. I see a few more fat ones. And anyone who has lettuce out now in my zone 7A, probably knows that we had cold spring, and now we have summer. So I'm hoping my lettuce, I can eat some of it and it doesn't go to seed. We'll see. And my spring carrots, they always kind of grow slowly and not real great. My best time of the year to grow carrots is in the fall. But I like to have some anyway. Almost out of my fall carrots. Have a big bag in the fridge that's left from the planting last fall. So that's all I'm going to show today.
That's your garden update. Today is Thursday, May 1st. It's Charlie and Teresa Garden for 2. If you'd like to see older videos on how we built our beds and how we planted things and how we took care of the clay soil that was here and turned it into good fertile soil, those are all in old videos. They're mostly just for us to diary our activities so we know what we have done and when we've done it. But there's a lot of older videos you could watch. All right, that's it for Charlie and Teresa. Till next time.